Last thing Jesus says to this woman. Now watch this. He's already said to her, I'm not going to condemn you, but now look what he says. Go, from now on, sin no more. Now, that one statement really has to clarify a misunderstanding a lot of people have about this story. You know, we've all heard the saying, God loves the sinner, but God hates the sin. And I believe that theologically is true. God loves the sinner, but God hates the sin. However, as you're going to see in just a moment, listen carefully. The woman's sin was forgiven, but it wasn't excused. Jesus didn't just say, well, you know, girls will be girls, boys will be boys. Okay, you know, I understand. I know how strong the sex drive is. I know it's really unrealistic to expect you to live a pure life in the society we're living in today, so just don't worry about it. See, this story, contrary to what a lot of people think, does not teach that you can't call wrong, wrong. It doesn't teach that you cannot call sin, sin. It doesn't teach that you cannot judge the sinful actions of other people. What it does say is this. Here's the point. Jesus was not saying only sinless people can judge the action of other people. If that were true, you couldn't even have courts. Because there are no perfect judges. There are no sinless judges, and there wouldn't be any such thing as justice. The truth of the matter is, you may not like this, but it's just the truth. I not only have the right to stand up here and condemn what the Bible condemns, I have a responsibility to condemn what the Bible condemns. I not only have the right to call something wrong that's wrong, I've got the responsibility to call something wrong that is wrong. But here is the difference. Even though we're not to judge the thief, we are to judge his stealing. Even though I'm not to judge the liar, I am to judge his lying. Even though I'm not to judge the homosexual, I am to judge his homosexuality. Even though I'm not to judge the adulterer, I am to judge his adultery. Even though I'm not to judge the gossiper, I am to judge the gossip. See, don't think you've got to be perfect to condemn sin. Condemning sin is not the same thing as judging the sinner. The Pharisees wanted to judge the sinner. Jesus said, I'm not going to judge the sinner, but I am going to condemn the sin. And when Jesus said to that woman, go, but don't you sin anymore. Boy, there's a great lesson to learn. I want you to write this down. This is the lesson to take home today. God loves us just the way we are. But He loves us too much to let us stay that way. You see, if you are, and just fill in the blank, a pornographer, a pimp, a prostitute, a lesbian, a homosexual, an adulterer, a fornicator, an alcoholic, a drug addict, fill in the blank. God loves you just the way you are. But He loves you too much to let you stay that way. He didn't say to that woman, clean your act up and I'll forgive you. He didn't say to that woman, get right and then I'll get right with you. He said to that woman, I forgive you. You go and you sin no more. You see, here's the thing I want you to understand. It is not my place to condemn the sinner, but it is my place to condemn the sin. Jesus did not say, I do not condemn you either. Go and sin some more. He said, I do not condemn you either. Go and sin no more. See, we've got to learn to be balanced. We've got to learn how to be consistent in seeing the sin of other people. Yes, you do it in a spirit of humility. Yes, you do it understanding except for the grace of God, you be in another person's position. But it doesn't mean you don't condemn the wrongdoing of other people. As a matter of fact, do you know one of the reasons why God forgives us when we ask for God to forgive us? He didn't just forgive us just so He can clean up the sin. He forgives us so we will go out and not continue to sin. One of my favorite verses in the Bible is Psalm 130 and verse 4. It reads like this. But you offer forgiveness. Why? That we might learn to fear you. You come to God and you do wrong and you say, God, will you forgive me? God says, yes, I will forgive you. However, here's the deal. I forgive you. But go and sin no more. Be consistent in how you see the sin of others. Be careful how you see the shame of others. But be compassionate in how you see the soul of